While the Resident Evil 4 remake has been extremely successful, it had its fair share of controversy because, of course, there were people who were upset that the game had gone through censorship, and then you had journalists saying it's not even censorship and we're being dramatic for not liking the changes. And now that the game has been out for a little while, it's been getting great reviews and everybody really likes it. There is one final controversy because Ada's new voice actress has wiped her social media after allegedly being harassed, yet she left up a single post on Instagram about white privilege. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So, I wanted to start off with this Forbes article. Resident Evil 4 remake Ada Wong actress Lily Gao harassed off the internet by fans. Now, I have seen a lot of criticisms online regarding her performance as Ada, and I personally haven't seen anybody taking it too far and harassing her. Of course, we live in an age where if you criticize someone online, it's seen as harassment, and that is, I feel, what is going on here. Another day, another toxic example of fandom directing hate somewhere they shouldn't. Shockingly, it's at a woman chasing her off the internet entirely, it seems. A classic game journalist rushing to put up an article on this without even checking their grammar. It says this time it's Resident Evil 4 remake actress Lily, who played Ada Wong in the new highly rated remake. While her performance was criticized by some, that devolved into people heading up to her Instagram to personally harass her, and as such, she deleted/hid all of her posts on the platform, except for one talking about the role of privilege in society, which had been posted back in 2020. Now, I have seen a lot of criticism online regarding her performance. I personally did not even like her performance. There are many other voice actresses in the past who have done a way better job than her. But that's just my criticism. That's not me harassing her. And this journalist and many other journalists are putting out articles like this saying that she was harassed off the internet because people went to her Instagram. We are talking about someone who had an Instagram so that people could go to it and interact with her based on her performances. Yes, some people might have went there and said negative things, but that's the point of having an Instagram or a Twitter as a public figure, is so that people can interact with you. It says there is, of course, a reasonable way to criticize one particular performance in any form of media, but of course there are lines that the internet crosses quickly and easily, and even a vocal minority of fans in a series as big as Resident Evil is more than enough to constitute a deluge of hate towards a person. Now, this whole article is based on the fact that she has gotten hate, and obviously, I don't think that she deserves to be harassed based on her performance, even if you dislike it, even if you think that she's done the worst job as a voice actress for Ada so far. But the problem I have with this article and every other article like this is that they're talking about the harassment she has faced, yet they have absolutely no evidence of it. There are no screenshots here. There are no links to tweets or posts here and comments. Absolutely nothing to prove, oh, hey, she was actually harassed off of the internet. And I'm sure that she was criticized, but there is a big difference between criticism and harassment. At the beginning, of course, the article pointed out that she is a woman, and they also go on to point out that she is an Asian actress, but that is not the problem here because Ada has always been an Asian woman. The problem was her lackluster performance, and people just didn't like it. Her voice lacked the sultry and playful nature of Ada from the original game. I mean, in the remake, there's a line where Ada says, "I never work and tell," when in the original she said, "I never kiss and tell." That, of course, falls under the censorship the game has faced, but it still all takes away from her personality. The article also goes on to point out that Lily played Ada in the 2021 Welcome to Raccoon City Resident Evil movie and live action, and I absolutely hated that film. I love Resident Evil, okay? I am a giant Resident Evil fan, but that movie was awful. They changed Raccoon City to a small town. The characters were completely different. It was barely Resident Evil, and people also didn't like her performance in that either. She does look the part. I think that she is a very pretty actress, but her voice just doesn't fit. It says that she was also teased for future seasons of Netflix's Resident Evil series, but of course, it was cancelled before that had a chance to come to fruition. It appears Capcom liked her so much in the movie that they had her do the performance for the game as well. This, of course, is an extremely sad situation. No one deserves to be personally harassed like this, and we find ourselves in this situation far too often with particular games and particular fandoms. You can't yell harassment and sexism without showing examples, and you can't deflect criticism by saying, oh, only a woman is getting criticized, because everyone gets criticized. This is why I do not like gaming journalists, because they rush to her defense without showing any sort of proof. Now, funny enough, in the Forbes comment section, people are absolutely roasting Paul Tassi in this article, saying things like, any examples of this harassment, getting criticized for doing a bad job rightfully is not harassment. People paying $60 for this game, they have a full right to review it. Somebody else said, while I don't approve of harassing anyone, she did a really terrible job in what is otherwise an exceptionally good video game. I can understand the anger, I just wish it was directed towards the casting director or whoever else was in charge of making that decision. And it sounds like a lot of people behind the scenes, made that decision because they did work with this actress following the, movie. And like I mentioned, she did leave up one single post on her Instagram saying the role of privilege. For many members of the majority culture, i.e. those who identify as white in the US, being made aware of one's classification as linked to privilege is likely not a common or welcomed experience. Indeed, many people have never been asked or required to reflect on their own privileged status, and in regards to racial identity, doing so might feel uncomfortable or even discordant with other common narratives regarding social and political changes over the years. It's a pretty long post, but it does seem odd that she left this one post up if it wasn't to make a statement on the whole entire situation. It was posted all the way back in 2020, but it sounds like she's basically blaming all of the criticism on white privilege, and she's chalking it up to, well, people do not like the fact that she happens to be an Asian woman. People have loved Ada for so many years. She is a very beloved, iconic female video game character, but unfortunately, instead of just taking criticism and running with it, she has decided to delete every post on her Instagram except for one, and all of the game journalists are running to her defense. I hope that we actually see some examples of the harassment she faced from gaming journalists in the next day or two, but I highly doubt that we will, because I bet all of that harassment were just simple criticisms levied towards her performance. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.